Alright, out here in the shop, just working on getting these top rails plated off, and just plated them off to have a bar to go from there back to this tube front. And that's what we're working on now. You see the motor plate is added in here. It's got a motor plate from Motion Raceworks. Fits these headers nice. So anyway. Alright, so here we are. We got the down tubes fitted, kind of coped really nice to the lower tube front end support, and we're going to start welding those in. We got them tacked, and we're going to see how good we can get them welded in. People say they want to see all this stuff, so I'm kind of recording a little more than I normally do, just so y'all can kind of see the ins and outs of it. It's a long, tedious, slow process. I'm not the fastest around, probably not anywhere near the best welder around either, but I can get it done. So slowly but surely we kind of tinker along, and this is recorded back in the winter, so you know, heater's going and it's freezing cold outside, and this is kind of like a little escape to work on the car and get race cars ready for race season. If y'all got any input on things you'd like for me to do in these videos, let me know. I don't know if having these long drawn out videos showing each little process is good, bad, or what, but if y'all want to give me a little input on it, and I'll try to do a little better. I don't make as many videos as I probably should, but I stay busy doing this stuff, and if I don't have somebody to help film or whatever, I just roll on with it and keep it moving and that kind of thing. Can't really see shit under here too good. Alright, out here working on this LS swap car and mounting the steel front end, so we got to have a way to support this. So I don't know if you can see that, but I've been a piece of tube, and we're going to utilize the same mounting place that factory had to the radiator support, but we're going to run a tube down and tie it into this front tube support. But as you can see, it ain't welded yet, so going to weld that in next, and then we'll move to the other side. Okay, for this section, I'm going to make a mount to tie into the actual T6 merge. And I know they've got some really fancy, good looking mounts from Maven, stuff like that. We didn't have one, and me and my nephew, this is his car, and we're going to probably be swapping turbos back and forth because they're two different size turbos, and depending on what class we're trying to run what car in, we may swap turbos back and forth. And basically you can take and undo the exhaust housing clamp and pull the turbo off, undo the feed and drain line, and then your mount's on the actual exhaust part, so it just makes it where you can kind of unplug and plug the turbo, swap it out pretty easy. So that's why we're making our own mount. Keep that Harbor Freight toolbox, old son. Y'all know how I get down. Alright, time to bend a little tube to make us a turbo support. That way the turbo's supported and it doesn't put a load on any of the hot side. That is a very important step, especially with something like a GT55 turbo. These things are pretty heavy, and if you don't take the time to support them well, then you end up with some cracked hot side and all kinds of headaches that come with that. Well, I'm really liking how this is looking. Got a nice old GT55 GTR 102 hanging out front from my boy Jose at Forced Inductions. And this is actually my old turbo off my car. So I know this thing will provide all the air we need to motivate this LS motor. And we're making progress here. Everything's looking good, nice and supported, and we can pretty much start building the hot side from here and start moving on to the next step. To me, when you get to this kind of part right here on the build, you can really start to see the really gangster look that it gets with that turbo hanging out the front. For me, that just does it for me. That helps bring on the progress to the project. You get to see something like that and gives you a little wind in your sails. But you see here we're working with some stainless hot side and got those nice slip fits there, and they're working really nice. But I like to kind of fit everything, get it to fit as tight as possible, and then I'll take the wide masking tape and tape enough around it where it pretty much holds on really good, and then come in and tack it in at least 3 places. That way I can pull it off the car and tack it up, or weld it up rather, without worrying about it moving. But you see here how the hot side looks. Everything flows nice. Of course, your downpipe, which we had to swerve it around a few things, fit it out the fender, right out the old hole that I used to have in my car. Y'all probably recognize the front end. It's my old front end. And there's the cold side pipe. I'm really digging how it's looking. Still got a few things to do, like add the O2 sensor bung, the blow off valves, and of course I need to add the wastegates, which we're going to kind of try to come off that curved part where the hot side comes off the header and makes that turn. So it's a nice smooth transition to the wastegate. You can't always make it where it transitions good. Sometimes you sometimes there's no way to make a smooth transition into it, and if that's the case, then I usually try to use 60mm wastegates. I actually use, well, these are some blow-off valves. I'm not sure what the brand. My nephew picked those up. But on the wastegates I usually use the cheap ones off of eBay. They're about 65 bucks. And they're 60mm, and they seem to work, and they're cheap enough that I can have a spare with. Okay, so there's the car sitting on all fours in the driveway. It's got a nice little stance on those coilovers with the mini tubs. And I'll show you guys some more stuff about it with the cage and all. But here's a fuel cell. Got it off of eBay and did some mods to it. Probably honestly would have been better off if we'd have just made one. Would have probably suited what we were trying to do a little better, but we got it in there. It holds about 3 gallons and it should be plenty. Then I made a shifter mount to go in the factory position, and it holds the CO2 bottle and has a electric solenoid on it. There's the transmission. Okay, there's the transmission mount. Just took some tabs, welded them to the subframe there, and made a little straight tube. It ended up working. Alright guys, that about wraps this one up. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hope it didn't bore you to death looking at all this stuff, but like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully we'll build this thing up a little more. Thanks for watching.